quick, so we can kind of level set. How many of you listened to Ben and I a year ago? Show of hands. Okay, we'll change it up enough so that you know feel some variety. New slide deck for me, so we're going to work through that together. But quick background: I'm the rare over 40 Arizona native. So, and hands up again. Anybody else? Natives? All right, good. Went to Chaparral High School and got away for a little bit. Okay, so got some saber cat in here. Sorry, but got away for 4 years at Wheaton College outside Chicago. But the cold was too much, so I came right back here. Did my grad school at Arizona State University. Worked in retail development for a decade plus with my father and his partner, and found myself navigating to the public sector. So economic development's been a great mix between the private and public sector. We consider ourselves the most like the private sector. We want to see responsible development, and we want to see businesses grow. That's really the core of what we do, is we help businesses grow. So we want jobs, quality jobs, especially in Scottsdale. So this will be a little bit of an overview of what we do as a department, but we are a bit of a catch-all department, and we do work with all different departments and even other municipalities. So you'll hear a bit about that too. Please throw up hands if you've got questions along the way. I think both Ben and I prefer more interactive. If you guys have something that you want to stop me with, just like you did with April. So this is a really quick overview of department functions. There's a business attraction side, which is promoting Scottsdale, engaging with the decision makers that might make decisions on moving their companies to Scottsdale, whether that's site selectors who are pictured here, the open, or whether that's commercial real estate brokers or the businesses themselves. Offering tailored support and resources, we'll talk a little bit about that later. And then business retention. So that's the existing businesses, existing Scottsdale companies. That's my main role, is working with the existing businesses. We're a very small department of 6. Per capita, probably the smallest economic development department in the state, which we run lean in a lot of ways. I think your tax dollars are going to the right spots. We support the existing businesses, though, by addressing challenges that they might have, kind of being their liaison, and then also connecting them with other resources, which I'll go into in a little bit. These are some of those resources. This is some of the support we provide. That handout is some of the support we provide. I wanted you guys to have that. If you have any clients that are business owners in Scottsdale, this might be of value, especially if they're small businesses. Also happy to connect with them myself or someone from our department too. But some of the business support that we provide includes connections to the chamber, knowing the commercial real estate professionals, architects, engineers, having a point of contact with transportation and streets, knowing the city manager's office and when to bring them in, or even council members as well. Water resources, very important, as we talked about that in the previous discussion as well. And our closest partner, I would say, is planning, which Ben is going to be representing long-range planning, but we are often helping businesses navigate processes through planning. Some quick demographics in Scottsdale at a glance. Population about 250,000.
Will you share the slides?
Oh, absolutely. So
okay.
The slides are coming your way. Kelly will get to you, as well as a digital version of the handout if you want.
Thank you.
Population 250,000. We are 184 square miles, as many of you probably already know. A third of that's never going to be developed. We've got McDowell Snow Preserve, which is amazing, and that is a huge value add to us, and one of the reasons why we're always ranked high in quality of life. Daily workers, 210,000. I might even debate April on whether we're a larger net importer. For our population, maybe not with Tempe, but as far as those in the workforce, because we have an older population than Tempe, we don't have as many in the workforce. So we have about 130,000 of that 250 is actually in the workforce. But on any given day, there's 210,000 people going into Scottsdale, myself included. I live in Phoenix. So those are some key demographics. Why Scottsdale? When we're pitching Scottsdale to companies considering moving from out of state, or to site selectors, commercial brokers, or even to a group of you who I would consider economic developers as well, because you guys are selling Scottsdale, these are 4 great facts and why they should consider moving here. We're often ranked #1 in the nation for jobs. Walt Hub did it again. I think I've been with Scottsdale for 7 years now. I think like 5 of the 7 we've been #1. It's because they keep pulling from the same stats, and we keep measuring very, very high, which is awesome. Scottsdale's home to over 20% of Arizona's corporate headquarters, so our population is only about 3%. but 20% of all the headquarters in Arizona are right in Scottsdale, which is amazing. Notably, 60% of Scottsdale's residents hold a bachelor's degree or higher. I think Tempe had 50% or higher, which is awesome. 60%, even better. Again, I'm not trying to compare, but it's hard not to after you go out to Tempe.
Not even here to defend yourself.
We'll talk about that later. All right. And yeah, I just mentioned 130,000 residents in the workforce, 210 that are working here. It's not working now.
There it goes.
Oh, we'll skip past that video. We don't have enough time for it. Some of you saw it last year. Maybe I'll include the hyperlinks when I email Kelly. These are our target industries. So the businesses that we're trying to recruit to Scottsdale are often in these target industries. The businesses that are here thriving in Scottsdale are often in these. These were determined after our 5-year economic development plan, which was put into place in 2021. Once we do another one here fairly soon, I imagine they're going to be similar. Technology, for sure. We've got a lot of tech companies here. You guys know that. I'm sure you have friends that work in those companies. Healthcare services, innovation, also very crucial. Finance and insurance, also a hub. And we have a great presence here, and it continues to grow. Logistics management is a smaller one, but we per capita have a larger presence in that area. And then tourism, crucial, huge. Candidly, that's the one that we focus on the least as far as my department, because we have a tourism department within Scottsdale, and many of you might have heard of Experience Scottsdale. Have you heard of Experience Scottsdale?
Yeah.
That is like the external marketing arm for Scottsdale, and they're fantastic. They help get the word out across the nation about the amazing city of Scottsdale and why people should come visit. I'm not going to talk a lot about this, but we've got a lot of partners that our department works with. Left side is kind of brokers, Arizona Commerce Authority, Phoenix Economic Council. Centers more education, different type of avenues like ASU and U of A, and freeways, more tech focused, entrepreneurship, Canada Arizona Business Council, etc. Oh, the far right side is every department that we interact with, which is everything, and it looks like we double down on planning and development because they're very important, as Ben will go into. Scottsdale's top 10 employers. So these are the private sector employers. What I love about this slide, and it is updated from a year ago, but it's the same type concept because it's true. Within our top 10 employers, all those fit within the targeted industries that I mentioned previously. So healthcare, we got Honor Health, we got Mayo Clinic, we got CVS Health. Finance and insurance, we got Nationwide, we got the Hartford on there, Vanguard. Technology, Axon, General Dynamics. Then we've got Choice Hotels and Fairmont Princess on the tourism side. So all of them are fitting within that, and it's great that we're super diversified. Remember, 210,000 employees, the largest one's 7,400, so not even close to 10%. Was that 3%-ish, something? So lots of diversity. If one company goes out, that's horrible, but it's great that we have a lot of diversity, and I think that's been different than even decades past in Scottsdale. So happy about that. Here's some news companies that we've recruited to Scottsdale, and our department's had a place in them either expanding or landing in Scottsdale. Content at Scale tech company, they've actually already changed their name, which is kind of techie, right? You gotta go. Their brand well, they're a marketing AI company, really cool. ASM you might have heard about, we'll talk about them a little bit later. Semiconductor is huge. Will Scott Mobile Many, they're still moving into their headquarters at Entrada, 64th Street, and McDowell, Surgenics, high tech, skin type technology, health tech, amazing. Impact of new companies locating and expanding in Scottsdale. So this is just a quick infographic on what the benefits are of us recruiting a business to locate in Scottsdale and like the multiplier effect of it. So for 2024, we had a hand in 7+ businesses located in Scottsdale. Those businesses, our department specifically, and this is underreporting, in fact, because sometimes we have small, but these ones we had larger hand in them located in Scottsdale. Had an average wage of $134,000, almost 1,500 jobs. Capital expenditure, which means, you guys know what that means, putting money into buildings, etc., almost $500 million. 500,000 square feet of commercial real estate absorbed from those projects. And then the huge, crazy numbers is the economic impact which over 5 years, the economic impact would be $3 billion from just those companies that we have a hand in. This is a little harder to see, I think, with the screen maybe, but site selection, this is good to understand how economic development gets pulled in and why it's important. If a business wants to locate in Scottsdale, what do? There's a few things. They could go reach out to their professional site selector to help them do that, and then they reach out to Greater Phoenix Economic Council and Arizona Commerce Authority. They contact all the communities, Tempe, Mesa, Goodyear, and Scottsdale. We put together packages and say, this is why you should consider Scottsdale. And then ultimately they choose. Sometimes they choose us, sometimes they don't. They could connect their local broker, commercial real estate broker, and they do marketing outreach, and then at some point they'll bring in our team hopefully and say, hey, this is a company that's looking here. Can you help with why Scottsdale? Can you help with them getting moved in and their tenant improvements, etc.? That's another route. Then this is a phenomenon that happens not in every community, because I worked in Mesa for 2.5 years, and we got maybe one every 6 months to a year where a company goes directly to you and says, hey, I want to move my business here, or I'm considering expanding. Can you help me out directly? It's great that we have that happening more often. And sometimes they'll go straight to planning first, and then planning says, I think we might need to talk to economic development too. So we work together well in that, but it's great that we have businesses reaching out directly to Scottsdale saying, I want to move here or expand here. All right. I know I'm going quick, but stop me if you need something, because I'm going to eat too. All right. Commercial leasing trends. This is just the Greater Phoenix ones versus Scottsdale left and right. A couple things to just take note of. Almost exactly as last year. If you look at industrial, our vacancy rate is ridiculously low. 3% is essentially people moving from one spot to another, so it's nothing. Versus Metro Phoenix is 12.8, which isn't bad either nationwide. But our rental rates are $21 versus $13. Did you have a question? Okay. And then similarly in retail, we have very, very low retail vacancy rates, even lower than Metro Phoenix, but that's essentially just filling the space, despite having a higher asking rent, $36 or $34 versus $26. Office is a little bit different in that we're kind of on par, 17.2. We're slightly higher versus 16.9, a little bit higher office rent. Part of that I would attribute to newer product in Tempe, new product, which demands high. So not just Class A, but Class AA. Tempe's got a lot more of that along Tempe Town Lake, etc. So they're getting much higher rents on that. So we are not. I bet their vacancy rate or their asking rents higher than ours. Tempe is because they have more new product. Yeah, that's just a little snapshot into where it's vacant to as well. This is more a granular look at like Air Park area, downtown area, McDowell corridor, office, retail, industrial. I won't go into this too much, but you'll see it in the slides when those are sent out. Okay, I will cruise through this as well because Ben's going to touch on some of these. There's just 4 key developments that I wanted to at least talk about briefly. Cabazon, you guys have all driven by that hundreds of times on the 101. Maybe you've been in the building too. It's pretty cool. They're going to be 1.8 million square feet when it's fully built out. Nationwide is the owner of that entire parcel. So they're building now. In fact, they're in right now. So I can say they're in right now to build another office building in that area because they are 100% leased on those office buildings, which is awesome. And they've got a hotel on site already. Maybe you guys have stayed there, or had friends stay there. A couple of the employers that are at Cabazon Choice Hotels, a lot of their back office tech jobs are there. Nationwide itself is there. MLB Players Association is there as well. They've got some really cool space. Bar S Foods is headquartered there. Skysong 6. This is a rendering of the building that hopefully will be going in at Scottsdale McDowell eventually. It would be the largest building there. It's 340,000 square feet. Skysong is a fantastic, huge success story. If you guys haven't read about it, do a deep dive sometime on the Google. It is like 90% or more leased out. Again, that goes back to if you've got really quality space at a great location like Cabazon and Skysong, you're going to get it leased up even at higher asking rents. So that is in the future. We own the underlying land, the city of Scottsdale does, which is a really cool partnership with ASU. Because of that, they've got some really cool programs there. In fact, the hyperlink on there for 1951 space, they offer literally free co-working space if you are a Scottsdale tangential person. So you don't have to live there, but you just want co-working space, you're going to be growing your business. It's free, I promise you. If you click the hyperlink, you'll learn more about it. But that's there at SkySong in partnership with ASU.
Is the bank going to stay there, or are they taking that out? Because
For
I'm
Kenya,
guessing
or what do
that's
you mean?
where the Chase there. Because I'm guessing.
Oh yeah.
That's all like.
That's a
I'm guessing
different-
that's where the parking lot is. Where
Yeah,
that's
yeah, this is
going.
the hard
Because
corner.
there's a big parking
Correct.
lot there,
This is
and then there's the
literally-
bank on the corner.
The bank is east of the corner. So the hard corner, there's literally nothing but parking.
Oh,
lots.
so you're on the Scottsdale corner.
This is across the street. This is McDowell right here. This is looking
Okay.
at it. If you drive there right now, it looks like it's 100% done because they do the landscaping and the parking lot's great, but it is built like this. There also will be a parking garage built within this too, so they will replace the parking that they're displacing. Chase is further down this way, closer to Miller. And
Are you saying this is going to be a free office space where if we're out and about, we can just pull in and go in there and work on our computer?
well, the 1951 is free co-working space for businesses that are like startups or they're solopreneurs or whatever. But if you went in there and said, "Hey, this is my situation. I'm a Scottsdale realtor and I would like that." Matthew Colbeck is the guy. He'd probably say that's fine. They're never at capacity, but it is utilized a lot more than a lot of the other innovation spaces.
Gotcha.
So click on the hyperlink, tell Matthew that we chatted, and see what he says. Okay, back Innovation Park. Ben's going to take this a little bit more, but this is a project that's over 1 million square feet when it's going to be fully built out. If their vision comes to fully fruition, it is at the 101 and Bell in the northeast corner. It is owned by Mac Real Estate Group out of New York. They have deep pockets. Something will happen there. It is in the process already, and pre-planning is getting completed. There are some hurdles with drainage, etc., which Ben might go into more, but no city council approval is required at this point for this initial phase, so that will be going forward. The park is in a similar spot in that it is going forward. It is built to be a modern tech campus. George Kurtz, who's a billionaire with a B, bought it, is having it developed. He's the owner of CrowdStrike, and there'll be 250,000 square feet of office space there, 1,100 residences, 2-acre public park. They are going forward, it is public with the initial first phase, with the 2-acre park right now, along with, I think, the initial residences, but 2-acre park with initial residences. Over there first, and then, yeah.
That was where Cracker Jacks was, right?
Correct, yeah, Cracker Jacks, yeah.
Are those going to be rentals, or are they going to be like condos? Or
Great question. I'm not sure on that. Ben maybe knows.
It'll be a mix. I think they're looking at a certain number of doors for a hotel, but then likely apartments. But since they're only going with phase 1 right now, they haven't decided on the next phase, I'm pretty sure.
All right.
And you said there'll be a bunch of office, and I know it's George Kurtz. That's not going to be the CrowdStrike headquarters, though?
Despite what you may have heard from other people,
Yeah.
that's not what we've heard, but we'd love to take CrowdStrike there, or at least a satellite office. I don't know that for sure, whether or not that has not been committed to.
Gotcha.
Here's a good overview of Scottsdale. It is almost built out, similarly to Tempe. We only have about 400 to 500 acres of land that's even developable for ground up. Most of it is state land. Some of it's already spoken for. Honor Health, Banner Health, Axon, ASM, Cadison. Those are spoken for, but the pinkish ones are still available. We'll see that in the next 10 years-ish, depending upon recessions and all that, get bought up and developed. But this is our corporate corridor, as we were talking about before. This is what we envision to be the corporate corridor where we have opportunities to bring in corporate headquarters. Yes.
Not to jump ahead, but I've been telling my clients that PP Mall is going to be out the next Westgate.
Probably not far off. It's awesome. I grew up going to PV Mall, so it's kind of like bittersweet,
Yeah.
but it is another thing too about that. It's in an opportunity zone. So I'm not sure if you guys are all familiar with that, but opportunity zones provide tax benefits to institutional investors and otherwise. And whenever a building or commercial product is located in there, they're likely to pour even more money into it because these people are needing to delay their taxes or get a tax benefit from it. So anytime I hear that something's going in an opportunity zone, and that just happens to be barely under the wires qualifying, and so they're going to pour a ton of money into it, and they already have. But it's going to be cool. Yeah.
So how do we get the mayor and the city council to sit through this presentation?
I don't think I should answer that. Well, I will to some degree. Like, we have an economic development subcommittee, which have 3 council members on it, so they will be learning more and more about that. I've never met an elected official that is not pro-jobs, pro-business, and that's what our department's all about. So,
Right.
Yeah. But thank you for that comment question. Yeah. Did you have one?
Maybe you're going to touch on it, but it seems the drama won't go away with the Axon situation. Can you give us your take on what's happening there?
I candidly am not in the inner circle on that. So, I don't know.
Can you give us a nonpartisan overview of what that's all about? Because it's gotten so confusing at this point.
I really don't even think I should speak. They're a great company. Again, I would Chaparral. I know Rick Scott did too. Like, it's an awesome story. I hope they stay. I think it would be a shame if they left Arizona in general, period. And I think everybody agreed with that, no matter where it come from. They don't want them to leave Arizona. So I don't know what else I can say without.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Step up and tell us what's going on.
Can you tell us how much tax revenue we would lose if Axon were to leave?
There have been studies on that. I was not a part of those studies. I think they're in the paper even, and but I don't know that offhand.
Okay.
It would be a lot, like
Right.
a lot.
Yeah.
Because back to the multiplier, that slide with all the multipliers, they are a huge multiplier, and if they grow the way they're supposed to, like, this isn't far off the number of jobs that they have, and their average wage is actually, I think, a little bit higher than that. So, it's
Yeah, your slide said 1,750 jobs. It's a different slide for Axon.
yeah. So, it's an enormous multiplier. Yeah, that is kind of it. This is the team. I mentioned we're super lean, and I know Ben's got some stuff.
I don't know if you know about this, but I know, like, because I'm a Scottsdale resident, and I got a thing for the park saying, we got a whole bunch of money, and what do you want done? And
That's cool. I
oh,
didn't
you
know
know
about
that? Okay.
That's awesome.
So I was wondering if you had any, like, because I know they put out, like, a thing for the residents last year, and they're like, what do you want to see in this?
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like, they were going to convert, like, the tennis ball courts to pickleball over at, like, Indian School, or if you knew anything about any of the park
don't.
plans.
Yeah, they're put together their master plan, their master park plan. So I'll touch a little bit on the general plan. Yeah, I'm just going to take over and sprint for 5 to 7 minutes. I'm not going to talk as fast as Josh. I'm just going to skip slides. I'm Ben Moriarty. I've been with the city for about 17 years. I'm also a native. I'm a senior planner with Long Range Planning, but we're right next to current planning. So Long Range focuses a lot on the general plan. So when we talk about some of the functions, I'm in Long Range, there's current plan, there's all the other sections in development services. I want to just key in on this development process. It often starts with a pre-application. So if you're talking with someone that wants to change the entitlements on the property or build a commercial building, it starts with a pre-application where you get to have a conversation with a planning coordinator, but also like any other department that has interest or wants to give input, like water resources, this is a big one. Engineering as well. If you're going through the process, this top bar is pretty much if you're doing a commercial building or changing the zoning entitlements. This bottom bar is where a lot of your residential clients are going to live. They want to do something new. They're going to submit plans. We're going to review them. They're going to get the permits. They're going to get inspected. if there's something weird in the neighborhood, you could always call code enforcement. All right, boards and commissions, pretty boring stuff, but I work a lot with the Historic Preservation Commission. So even last night I was at a HOA meeting for a historic community. So we talked about design in that. So going from 30,000 foot view, we have our general plan. That says this is what we want our city to be over the next 15 years, 10 years now. But every 10 years we have to approve a new general plan. The voters need to approve that. Our last one was ratified in 2021, so it's still fairly new. General plan, I'm going to skip this slide. But in the general plan, we have our general land use map. This says if this is suburban neighborhoods, you can only do so many dwellings per acre up there. If you want to do a commercial building on a suburban neighborhood, that's going to be a general plan change along with your zoning application. This breakdown, I think, is a pretty accurate graphic for how much residential is in Scottsdale. 51%. That's more than half. Josh already touched on the commercial and industrial developments. That's very important. We're concentrating a lot of that right in our air park area and in our downtown area. And you can see a lot of it is residential. Open space, we say it's 37% because that is our open space land use category. That's like the preserve, that's our green belt, but that doesn't include easements like the natural area open space easements on environmentally sensitive lands or scenic corridors or even ballparks for schools. So this open space is important to our community, and I would say it's closer to maybe like 37%. All right, character area plans. So we go from the general plan down to maybe the 10,000 foot view. One that we're often looking at is the downtown character area plan and our air park character area plan, because we have a lot of companies that want to build a new office building or redevelop in those areas. Zoning, and this is more regulatory. This is where you get your densities, your setbacks, your step backs. So this is granular. This is getting like, what can I do on my property? And we get, maybe a dozen setback requests a day, and that's where we're sharing the zoning ordinance with them. Development Review Board looks at design of projects. These are typically commercial projects. So we also have design guidelines. Our downtown has a design guideline. We also have, with historic districts, each district has its own kind of guideline on how to maintain that historic nature. I'm flying because I think we'll all be hungry soon, but now it's a little show and tell. Now it's the fun part. Everyone's always asking what's happening over there, right? So Optima, they're well underway. You probably all know more about it than I do at this point because you're seeing it more often than I do. This is a rendering of it. Those guys do a fairly good job with design and execution of their plans. You've seen a couple of their other projects throughout the valley. Their goal is to always make the next project better. Doesn't mean like bigger or more dense. In this case, there is a lot of units. In fact, let me go to my resource here so I can help share some of those unit counts with you. So Optima, 1,300 plus apartment units. So I know you guys were groaning about apartments earlier. A lot of that is market driven. And if you listen to our council meetings, it sounds like some of us do. Council's getting kind of tired of apartments. They'll openly share some of that.
Are they for purchase or to rent?
Council?
Yeah, Optima.
These, the Optima,
Yeah.
I think would be for rent.
Rent.
Yeah, apartments. This is Toll at Cavison. So Josh talked a little bit about the Cavison development. And these would be luxury, this project I believe would be luxury condos, or 136 dwelling units here. So we've seen a lot of proposals where we have maybe like a campus style, where you have your either your hospital or your office complex, and then you have the apartments that pop up next to that, or the condos. Moving through MAC, Josh already shared a little bit. This is a site plan of MAC development. We've had other pre-applications. Again, that's the beginning of the process. Talking about companies that want to locate in here. So maybe they want to start the design process for changing some of that. So it's good. There's some good economic development activity there. Fairmont Princess is expanding their ballroom or their rental capacity up there for events. Let me see here if I have any number on that. It would be where there's currently a parking lot. So they're expanding 35,000 square feet of additional conference space. Yeah, fairly substantial with some green space in between. The park, like Josh was saying, they've started on phase 1, and with phase 1, one of the stipulations is they do the cool stuff with phase 1, like the actual park. That's part of some of those planning reviews where we're like, hey, you've got some great ideas. We don't want to see that be the last thing that's built. But ultimately, that would be 1,236 dwelling units, 223 hotel rooms, and 253,000 square feet of commercial floor area. I think Josh already mentioned that.
Do we know which hotel is going in?
No, I don't think they shared what brand would be going in at this point. Pretty pictures. Everyone loves a good pretty picture of that. This is near Scottsdale and Gold Dust. This was an apartment development that was reviewed and approved by council. You may have noticed they've already demoed the previous commercial building there. It's a rendering of that. Hazel and Azure was approved with zoning. This is right across from Scottsdale Fashion Square, mixed-use project. That ground floor would be commercial or retail, with the upper floors being dwelling units. So I think I have numbers here for you. 532 residential units, and then just over 14,000 square feet of commercial floor area on the first couple floors there.
This is Camelback and what?
That one was just north of Camelback and east of Scottsdale Road. Maya Hotel, they should be finishing any day now, but this is right in that entertainment district. If you're familiar with that, right next to the W Hotel.
That's owned by the same people as the W's? Is it the
Certainly developed by, it might be a different hotel brand, but yeah, Triar was the originator of that.
I drove past it yesterday. It looks just like the W, like identical.
Oh,
Yeah, like
yeah.
the outside of it.
Is there any requirement by the city where they have to like put soundproofing into the construction of those places?
You know what? Good question. In the air park, yes, there are requirements because we value our airport and we don't want any new dwelling units to day one start complaining to the city, we need to get rid of this airport. So here, it's highly recommended. So in the downtown area, it behooves the developer to do soundproofing so that, you know, you kind of know what you're moving in next to, but you don't know the deep bass when it hits. All right, this project, the Kimsey, 176 dwelling units, and then also hotel, 168 door keys for the hotel. This one's unique because this triangle building that's kind of in the forefront but shaded behind the trees here, that's a historic building. So City Hall was actually in that building way back when. So during this development, the developer said, we're going to scrape it. And we said, could you please save it? So in order to save it, they were able to move the height and density away from Indian School and get a little bit of an incentive for saving a historic building there. So that's pretty neat. The hotel's being built right now. If you're driving Indian School and you're like, oh, there's a crane. That's the hotel portion. They haven't pulled permits for the apartment quite yet. A residential healthcare facility. This is at Scottsdale Road and Osborne. You might know it as the old Olive Garden. Yeah, so I gave a presentation to some folks in downtown and they all groaned, oh, Olive Garden's coming. But there is within the plans for a restaurant right on the corner. So folks that love Olive Garden will probably love this restaurant as well. It will likely cater to that residential healthcare community. Papago Village, this is another unique project. This is Oak, just west of 64th Street. That Scottsdale Elks Lodge, if that rings a bell for anybody. This was a large office complex.
I used to work there.
You used to work there?
It was the blood bank.
It was the blood bank.
It was.
Yeah, I don't talking blood. The B bank. Yeah, so they were approved for, I believe, 96 dwelling units. These would be quote unquote single family, but I think they in some of the preliminary talks, we'll see what they do with it, built for short term. So it would be single family, but possibly short-term rentals. But also through this project, this building right here on the original site was designed through the Frank Lloyd Wright office. It's not Frank Lloyd Wright, but it's one of his apprentices designed that building, and we said, that seems significant. Can you give us a historic significance report for this building? Because it's old enough and it might have been designed by a master. And they said, you're right, it is cool. We'll develop that around, we'll make our development around that, and that'll be our community building. So I like it because I'm doing a lot of historic preservation. So I'm like, yeah, another success. This is great. But also we're not losing our past, right? It also keeps that balance between the old and the new, and the density, even though that's a bad word these days. San Valera Apartments. This is in that corridor up by the 101 again. You can see the star here. 181 dwelling units. So all these, the rest of these slides, every year we do a before and after YouTube video because everyone loves pretty pictures. You could go on YouTube. I think City of Scottsdale has our own channel, so you could see the council meetings. You could also see the before and afters, and some of the other projects that are proposed. You could get a little vignette of those projects and what's being proposed. Juggernaut. This is in the Scottsdale Airpark area. I believe it's their headquarters, but they do like the phone cases and also some other defense type of security cases for that sort of thing. Pretty cool looking building. Okoya Scottsdale at Shea. This is another residential healthcare facility. This made a big impact on Shea Boulevard when this one opened.
That's done, right?
Yeah, that's open. 150 beds. Scottsdale on Main. This is a condo development. This made a big difference on Main Street. So if you're coming out of the Valley Ho, you see this on your right. 121 dwelling units there, but these I believe were for purchase. Want more info? Our website is search-based, so you could search development projects, you could search maps. A lot of us, include you, see things graphically. So you're like, I want to go to that corner, and you could see what's happening in the neighborhood. So you can search maps on our website. Thanks, that's it.
Woo!